can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Hello and welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted to be joined, as always, by Punch Out Boxing's finest, Ra Hokum. No longer a special guest, really, on the channel, more of a regular for his out there opinions. Hopefully, one we can get tonight. Ra, we're here. It's final prediction mode. It's the biggest weekend of boxing of the year by an absolute country mile. One of the biggest weekends of boxing I think I've ever seen in my lifetime. In terms of everything that's going on, everything from Canelo Crawford, Inoue Akhmadaliev, Paddy Donovan, Lewis Crocker, we're all over the place. It's unbelievable. We will start um, with Caoimhin Agyarko, Ishmael Davis. As I said, we're here in final prediction mode. As I said off camera, Ishmael Davis becoming a bit of the can man, taking fights that not many others would take at the stage of his career. Hats off to him. Caoimhin Agyarko looking to keep that unbeaten record and move on to bigger names and bigger nights. What is your prediction for this fight, Ra?
I'm gonna go with Kevin Agyarko. I think he's managed his career well, avoided unnecessary risks when he can. He has somewhat been painted into a corner here because he was sort of out in the wilderness for a while because of managing his career a bit too cautiously. But yeah, I think he's taken this fight because he probably thinks he's got enough craft to outwit the still somewhat raw Davis. And I think that is probably what will happen. I think he'll probably put on a bit of a negative performance and frustrate Davis. So I'm going to go for a Jarko on points.
Yeah, I think it's more than fair what you've said. I think, like you say, Ajarko's been clever with his career, whereas Ishmael Davis, again, as you said, a bit of a late starter, hasn't had the luxury of being able to navigate his career in such a way. I think I agree with yourself that Kevin Ajarko is going to win on points, and I agree he's going to win in a negative way. I think he's going to try and tie Ishmael Davis up, keep the fight at a steady pace and keep it how Kevin Agyarko wants the fight to go. I know it sounds almost as if Ishmael Davis is, a ferocious, terrifying knockout artist, but I think it's more of the fact, like you say, because his career has been so well managed, should he lose, it's got quite a few blocks to rebuild. So I think he's going to make it messy, make it ugly, and grind out a pretty uncomprehensive points victory. Just on the points we've made of both fighters, Ra. Kevin Agyarko, firstly, obviously, as we both said, he has managed his career. What's next should he win? It'll be 18-0. This would arguably be one of the better names on his resume. He's got Troy Williamson. I know he's got Ryan Kelly. Um, he probably would have wanted to be further along than he is at this stage. So, what do you see next for him?
I see more of the same. I can foresee another big period of inactivity, maybe interspersed with some pointless six rounders, like the one he had on the top tier show a while back. Where, by the way, the journeyman actually gave him some work. Yeah, I think just that cautious nature of how he's managed his career, I think he'll c continue in the same vein, simply because 154 is a division full of killers. There's
Mhm.
no easy routes. So, um, guys like Eddie are going to probably try and pressure him to take a fight against another contender or a young hotshot who fancies his chances. But I think he'll carry on doing what he's done and just stall. I don't know how long he thinks he can wait because, like I said, the whole division is so stacked. Um, you'll wait out the whole of your career before an easy option appears. So, but there's been fighters who've done that with their careers, frittered it away, waiting for the perfect opportunity. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's what happens. The only way I see him actually getting that really big fight is if he's willing to take on, one of the danger men, at short notice, sort of, late pull-out type replacement.
Mhm.
Say someone like a Bahram Murtazali, if he comes in at short notice, if he gets starched by him, he'll have that cover that, well, like it was a short notice sort of fight. But yeah, I think that's the most likely course of action based on what we've seen. That said, now and again, fighters do. After an initial period of caution, they do eventually make that step and then carry on in competitive fights for the rest of their career. But it's not often. Usually, past behavior is an indication of future. So,
I think you're spot on there. Good fighter, but no God-given talent, no God-given power. Not the most exciting of fighters. So it's probably a decent ticket seller. That probably keeps him around on these cards, which sounds a bit harsh of someone who could potentially be going 18-0, but I think this is his chance to, if he absolutely lights Ishmael Davis up, takes him out, or if he just cruises to a points victory, looked good on his resume, then he might get some of those bigger fights. But I think, like you say, he could look to have a completely managed career where, we look if he manages to get to 25, 26-0 without fighting anyone with a hugely padded record. People will look at him, to the casual and think, great fighter, and they won't have seen who he's fought. So it's interesting. On the other hand, Ishmael Davis has had quite the opposite of like I say, a carefully managed career. He's gone in with obviously Josh Kelly and Bochuk. Um, the latter being an incredible fight to take. He gave it a good go, but ultimately was nowhere near the level required on the night. For Ishmael Davis, he's clearly, it's a difficult one because he's clearly too good to be anywhere near classified as a journeyman. He's probably a
mm.
very good British level style fighter, but he's obviously stated he wants big nights, big fights. Can you see him almost being, I don't know, not necessarily maybe a gatekeeper, but he could be that person that's called upon when someone needs testing, when someone needs rounds, someone needs a close fight. Could he be that man, or do you think we could, see him maybe take the 6 rounder, 8 rounder route after this and try and build into something?
No, based on, again, past behavior is an indication of future behavior. I don't think he will. Uh, I think high level gatekeeper might be a realistic option. And again, nothing wrong with that. I don't use that term as anything derogatory.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, you look at someone like his old foe Troy Williamson, or both fighters' old foe Troy Williamson. He essentially has fallen into that role because he hasn't got any major backing. But he showed at the weekend that if you're willing to keep taking
Hmm.
those 50-50 fights, and you are actually a good fighter, one of these days you will upset a champion or a hotshot prospect, and it opens opportunities up. So I think Davis, he'll have numerous defeats on his career by the time it's over, but he'll have been on a lot of big nights. I
Hmm.
think he'll have fought for some major titles, and I think, yeah, he may win some of them as well. So yeah, that's how I see his career going. Apparently, he's still scheduled to fight Sam Gilly for the British title, which I'm a bit annoyed about with the
Hmm.
board because not that I don't want Ishmael to have the opportunity, but if he's taken another fight, don't hold that legendary title of ours up. Let Sam Gilly go and fight. Was it Ben Fale who recently beat Ali
Agyarko.
Abubaker? I mean
Yeah.
that can happen, and then the winner can fight Ishmael later. So that's what I wish happened. But anyway, let's see what the board decide. But yeah, either way, I see Ishmael being in many big nights and uh, yeah, fighting for titles from here on.
Yeah, completely agree with yourself. I think he's going to be. a different version of entertaining to what some people may consider as an entertaining boxer, but I think we're going to see him in a lot of good fights, a lot of close fights, and I think the Troy Williamson comparison is a very good one, especially for anyone who's unsure of what Ishmael Davis can offer after seeing anything in Troy Williamson. That Ted Cheeseman knockout put him almost on the map in a sense, domestically, and he's been
Mhm.
around the block, and he's still winning, picking up the English title over the weekend with an incredible knockout. So I think for Ishmael Davis, we will be seeing him with certain titles and bouts around his waist and over his shoulder. And I think he definitely will be some entertaining fights over the coming years. But once again, Ra, thank you for joining me. Let us know down below, guys, what you think of this fight. Can Ishmael Davis upset the odds? Will Kevin Agyarko ice Ishmael Davis? Will he surprise everyone? And will he make that statement that his career really needs? As always, let us know down below in the comments. Like, subscribe, and Ra, thank you for joining me again.